I had an idea for today's video. Computer build. So I've already built the PC. So this is pretty much just all the boxes of the stuff that I kept that's actually in the build. Motherboard. So I got the GIGABYTE gaming motherboard. This was basically the best sort of budget option. It wasn't the cheapest, but it was cheap enough that, and I feel like what you got for your money from this was perfect. And I was sort of going for the sort of black and red look, so this sort of fitted perfectly. Here's the Ryzen, AMD, Ryzen.
Parts, the disk you likely in Amazon will let you guys sort it out. Ryzen 5 1600 was released almost.
The Ryzen 5 1600, 6 core. 90 megabytes cache, 3.2 gigahertz, can be precision boost to 3.6. So yeah, that's the chip I went with, the processor. The graphics card. So I went for the 1050 Ti, which is quite a common graphics card. I just had a read round online, and a lot of people said this was a great budget option. Like the performance that people were getting out of it was pretty good. Obviously, it's got a DisplayPort, 3 HDMIs, and a DVI-D. One of the other reasons I got this graphics card was because of how quiet it's supposed to be. It's got 2 fans underneath, and they actually only come on when they need to. So when the graphics card goes above a certain temperature, they'll slowly ramp up. So you pretty much, unless you're doing some pretty serious gaming, they pretty much never come on. So it keeps the computer quiet. Most of the power supply unit. So I went, obviously keeping quiet in mind again, with the Pure Power Be Quiet brand. While looking into sort of like how to make the PC as quiet as possible without losing too much performance, this brand came up pretty much every time. All the parts that I got into, there's quite a good online calculator, so you put in all the parts that you have and it will tell you how much wattage you need. And it said I needed about 350 or might even be like 320 watts or something, so I just thought I'd go with the 400 and make sure you got that bit more just in case you ever want to expand later on. And while I got Be Quiet in mind, I also, for the computer case, which I will show you shortly, the computer case did come with one built-in fan, but I didn't know how quiet that was going to be, and obviously I needed probably at least 2 fans in there anyway just to keep it cool. So I just went again with the Be Quiet, which you barely hear them. They're great fans, highly recommend. So memory was a hard one to find. A lot of them are quite expensive, and I still wanted that great performance. I wanted at least 8 gigabytes of memory. That's like what most people recommend. It's rare that you'll go over that, to be honest. 16 is probably that sweet spot. I may upgrade later on, but obviously to keep this build as budget as possible, I sort of hunted around and found the Ballistix gaming memory. I think it was on offer at the time, 8 gigabyte kit, which was good enough for me. And then the one thing to make a computer quick these days that every computer has is an SSD. So I went with the Kingston. Well, to be honest, this is my one mistake. I wish I'd gone for a bigger SSD. I just got the 120 gigabyte just to put the operating system on, which I wish now with editing and stuff, I wish I got a bigger SSD, because it's just not big enough now. That 120 gig nowadays is nothing. It's still great performance and keeping everything down on a budget, I guess. Obviously the other thing missing came just on its own was I got a 2 terabit hard drive. I think it was the Western Digital. So in the future I will definitely do a full computer build start to finish. But for now I just thought I'd show you guys sort of my budget 4K computer machine build and how much everything costs. And obviously you can sort of pick and choose what you want. You may want to spend a bit more, so you could get the better graphics card or even the newer Ryzen chip. PC case I've got, a Phanteks case. Basically this was a great budget case because most of the cases I was looking at with just like the glass side, all of the glass was just like this rubbish plastic. Whereas this one actually had tempered glass on the side, which looks so much better, and it's definitely worth paying that, like, well, even this wasn't extra. I think it was a similar price, and it was about £60 to the cheaper cases. And they look great. They've got RGB lights inside that change. Well, anyway, I'll just go get it. This tempered glass. Show you the back now. You can mount your SSD at the back here. You've got space for another one there. So actually, to be fair, I might put my other SSD up in there. And then you've got a good little cable management around the side and the bottom here. So obviously you can bring out all the cables exactly where they need to be without them being all messy in the front of the case through the window. So yeah guys, I'll link all the parts that I used in the description below. Everything was from Amazon, so I'll just put all the links in there. If any questions you have, just whack it in the comments below. I'll reply. I can't promise that if it's a too technical question that I'll know the answer, but I'll try my best. So yeah, that's the 4K budget PC.